Hi, nurses. The last episode, we talked a little bit about false pleasure and how the world is constantly telling you that you should be happy. If you're not happy, find a new job. If you're not happy, find a new husband. If you're not happy, go and eat more. Go over drink. Go to a party. So, I'm going to tell you the key to being happy all the time. There isn't one. There is no key to being happy all the time. Life is 50-50. In the life coach school, they teach that life is 50-50. Half of it is good emotions, half of it is bad emotions. We all think, oh, if I was only a millionaire, then I would be happy. You would have no problems. But that's not true. You have more responsibilities, you pay higher taxes, for the sake of argument. There's conflict that arises. Your relationships are still struggles. You have to work to maintain relationships. You still have negative emotions that happen. People still die. So I want to talk a little bit about how life is 50-50, but how we add on to the negative emotions and increase our suffering. So last video, I talked about how emotions are neutral, and they are. But for the sake of argument, we will say that negative emotions are depressed, overwhelmed, stress, angry. Okay. And then happy emotions are, of course, like excitement, joy, peace, calm. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So life is 50-50. Half of life is positive emotions, half of life is negative emotions. If you have children, you find this to be very true. A lot of times they do things that are a bit much and chaotic, and other times, like, you can't imagine your life without them anyway, even though there's sometimes the stress and overwhelm that comes with them. So when we have happy emotions, a lot of times we just allow them. We feel them, we don't really question them. But when we have a negative emotion, we think something has gone wrong. The world tells us we need to be happy all the time. And if we're not happy, that means we must not be fitting in. We don't have a clan, and we're going to die, right? That's what our brain tells us, because our brain goes to the extreme always. So when you have a negative emotion, like guilt, shame, stress, you try to not feel that negative emotion, and you do what we call buffering, or instant gratification, as my mother would always like to say. So you feel guilty, and then, since you don't want to feel guilty, instead of just allowing the feeling, you run to the pantry and you go grab some chocolate chips. And it works for a second, right? You get a little hit of dopamine, but ultimately you add on to that guilt and shame, because now you feel worse. You really didn't want to do that. You wish you hadn't done that. And so now you're farther away from getting to your happy emotion. So really, we push ourselves farther out, and we keep ourselves farther away from happy emotions, because we're constantly indulging and buffering. We're constantly doing instant gratification in our culture. Everything is at the tip of our fingers, right? You can just pull up an app and find whatever you need. So we add a lot of pain and suffering to our day by buffering and trying to not feel the feelings. So if you want to find 3 tips to help you stop that today, go to my website, catholicnursecoach.com, or next episode, I'm going to talk about specifically what you can do to get out of this buffer zone and just start feeling your feelings, and to stop over drinking and overeating. So thanks for joining, and stay tuned.